The HYPERTAROT Readings by Felix Ashford. The following film is compiled from over 10 hours of tarot readings which took place during the Sydney 2021 lockdown. The cards were designed by the artist for use in these readings.
I'm scared. For you? For me? For everyone?
Yay, tarot! Okay. So I don't know how to shuffle. Thoughts?
Just shuffle. That's one way to do it.
I just did 22.
No.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's how you shuffle.
Oh, I'm so good. Oh my god, Texas Hold'em.
I feel so confused about identity. We're gonna go into breakout room. Like, oh no.
Do you have tarot cards?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Role reversal. You've got the Chariot. Like, would that be his past? Is that your past? It's probably your past with him, I guess. How would you explain it? Or like that's what drives it. Doesn't mean that's all there is to it. It's just that's what kind of like is the motivating force. You know what I mean? The present.
Okay, yeah.
The Pope, who doesn't really belong in this situation, but that's okay. So here's your boy. We'll
Wait
see
a
in the
second.
future. Oh.
Like, this guy has a really nice last name.
Proved by potentially.
What? What is it? But that's the past. That's a past. What if the
right
future?
After the moon. That comes right after the moon chronologically. In is when the moon is like bad bitch moment. Screw the sun. I'm gonna break the glass ceiling. This is like a textbook lineup.
Yeah.
But that's just what the universe says. Third one. Rip.
Don't say that.
Oh well. We had a good run. Okay. Is that echoing?
Yeah, it is. Oh,
That's so annoying.
it's kind of part of the aesthetic. Yeah.
I feel like after about 10 minutes, it's going to do everyone's head in.
Yeah.
Ooh. This is your past, so that even if it's a bit dead, that's fine, because that's like just a dead past.
You know,
does that work? Does that fit?
Yeah, that kind of is true. I had like this major blow up with someone, and literally like 2 weeks ago.
Hanged man, but you're sort of suspended between two states. I mean, that's pretty on point. Cheers, cards. Oh, whoa. All right.
I thought I like said something that was like kind of she said something that was rude, and then I said something rude back, like in a funny way.
Yeah.
And I thought she wasn't gonna like speak to me for like 3 months because of it. But she actually texted me and like apologized. So
that's probably then literally like, because that card can be quite literal depending on the situation. Yeah, because that card is like a little, it's all about like you're the child in that. You're not like an angel or the mother or the father. You're like, you are that little kid. So it's the Empress, which is quite nice.
God, I thought I'd get the Empress because my friend, her mom's like into tarot and like bit of that, and she just pulled a card for each one of us from one single card, and that was the card I got, the Empress.
Really?
Yeah.
That's quite spooky. Oh well.
The devil.
Rip. No, that's fine.
Papa.
Do we have a devil?
Maybe. Okay, well, recently I've been just a bit bored, so I have been just like starting a bit of drama.
Word for it is egregore. Like that's a way to distinguish.
Maybe she's the devil.
Yeah, like
that's intense. I don't know about that.
So there's your little Celtic cross. Did you have any other? Because there are, you know, ways you can make it more specific and like ask extra. Is there anything that's kind of unclear about that or a bit finicky?
Maybe.
Maybe.
It's embarrassing, but I want to know what's going to happen with this situation with this boy.
Yeah, you can do a just quick 3 past, present, future for more specific questions.
I think you go like this, like you.
Yeah, but I know, but then it all falls. I think I did them too small. Ooh. Uh-oh. Yay! Present. So I'm just distracted. My dad's in the garden. It's just me out. Dad, you being in the garden is stressful. Okay. Present. That works. That's optimistic.
Oh,
yeah. Thank you, cards. There's your lineup. Does that sound factual?
Yeah, I think so. That's good.
We haven't debunked tarot. There we go.
This was good.
This is good. We sorted this out. Okay. Ripped to him, essentially. I went to record it and then stopped. Yeah. Okay. Do you want me to pause recording or?
I don't think it's recording, is it?
Oh, I've just pressed record. Yeah. That was good that you mentioned that.
Okay. So these are my main problems. You know, you always feel that competition from people in your scene. The art world is a little bit difficult to navigate. It's not like the music scene, and it's not like even the theatre scene. Artists tend to be a little bit more ambitious
and competitive.
And they work alone more. There's that cult of personality that's kind of cropped up.
Well, that's a bit fitting to like the situation you just described with all the social stuff.
Indeed.
Because the staff of skepticism down below is just as necessary as the lamp, which is kind of clarity.
Like every afternoon, I chill out on my front veranda where I've got this crystal hanging, and I just feel and look at all the little tiny rainbows that.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I don't feel isolated. Like
we've got the Fool, and kind of just take everything by intuition, I suppose.
Yeah. Sacrifice the intellect.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Oh, that's all right. We've got the Empress there, which is quite nice.
I mean, I must admit that I feel like, yeah, I have more of a powerful spirit than I have in the past.
Got the Moon.
I like that.
Sort of being spiritually ready for a change to happen. I don't know if that.
It does resonate very strongly. Thank you, Felix.
Well, we'd hope. I'd hope that's quite good. I'll take that. Is there anything else specific?
You want me to expand on why it resonates? If
you feel like it, if you want to, yeah.
Well, I felt very connected to the moon, physically and spiritually. Mercury. You talked about something else at the bottom of the moon card. What is it?
That's the lobster figure. That's kind of.
Oh no, it's the eclipse.
The eclipse is at the top. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, eclipse is a really important kind of word for me, because my favorite an artwork that has meant the most to me that I've ever made was an artwork I actually made when I was in 3rd year.
Oh, really?
At uni. Yeah, and I called it Eclipse.
What spooky that there's parallel between.
And Felix, another spooky thing then is also the fact that the only painting I've been working on for the last year or two even is a crustacean figure.
No.
It is.
Wow.
Because the past is an eclipse,
Mm-hmm.
and then the present is a crustacean. And the painting at the moment is entitled Burial of the Shell. If it's not union through love, it will be union through art. Okay, so first I'll show you the eclipse.
Oh, wow. I do like that. What are the two figures?
Well, for me, it's one figure.
Which is basically, you know, not to read too much into it, but oh, wow, no wonder that's taken that long.
So, I mean, the shell idea, as you're saying, and the prosthetic idea, they could be used as a segue into this work.
That works really well. Yeah, no, that's really amazing. No wonder that's taken a minute. Looks, yeah, it's like an illustration of the moon tarot almost in like a
I know
way. You know, like measuring your shell, measuring yourself. Okay, we'll take that. So we've got the magician there, work into play, which is quite interesting.
Well, this is work and it's play, Felix.
Exactly, which is ideal. Then the production of that is the Sphinx, which is kind of like a union between sort of bestial kind of aspects of the self and like higher, I suppose, aspects of the self.
I've got it on a bookmark in my room. I can get it if you like.
Yeah, please. That'll be cool. That's a nice illustration to it.
Yes, it's the Sphinx by Miro, but it's only a detail because it's in this bookmark.
Oh, yeah. See,
I feel like that's fun. What's going on, basically. That's what I need.
we've got justice. You're just chilling on
I think that makes sense. No, I think, yeah, as much as like there's been like certain things going on, like had like a housemate move out and like some kind of like drama-y stuff, whatever, we're all like kind of dealing, which is good.
That's good.
Yeah, I think, yeah, and as much as like it's, and also particularly today and yesterday, it like kind of levels itself out. I guess like I don't know, with that justice card as well, it's like trying to find a calm and harmony, like just because nothing is really working out and because I'm like it's been a bit scarce.
Yeah,
trying to piece it all together like within myself so that I can go and make things. I'm happy.
You're going well, Lucas. Let's contextualize that. So
like this is like, it's almost like this like the third semester feels like a second kind of like death, but then I guess like in that sense I'm not making as much, but it feels that I'm like maybe coming to a certain more like closure in terms of like how I want to make. And I think that's like somewhat more important than like just like kind of stupidly making stuff.
Oh, nice. That's a very wordy one. We've got the world. Yeah, art is like an unfolding process, as opposed to like static contemplation.
I was like, I'm like coming to terms with the fact that I am going to have to make art for the rest of my life. And it's just something that I do.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna need to like figure out a way to do that. Yeah. No, I feel that. I guess because it also like before lockdown anyway, like I felt like things were happening.
Yeah.
Like really in motion, like both like there's like in terms of like friendships and relationships and like my art and things were going places.
Interesting. So we've got the Fool, which doesn't sound ideal initially, but it actually is.
To be more truthful to myself in my practice and be truthful to the way I like see things and not like downgrade them.
So that is strength. So you've consciously made a decision for during lockdown to like improve to feel stronger, like whether it's mentally, physically or whatever, like
exactly. Yeah, like like small amounts of meditation. I read like I found this like book on Zen that I'm like really enjoying, and like things.
So the Sun Tarot card,
it all like is like a nice juncture of those like just like it like key kind of like points, I guess. Read history of my life.
Yeah, no, I think so too.
I don't have like something really specific right now, but I have something changing. Like it's like this situation is changing right now, so I'm like, I guess, curious if it's a right thing to do, not right thing to do.
So drum roll. Oh, that's all right. We've got strength, which is ideal.
Yeah.
I mean, equally kind of stable. Like, these cards aren't very chaotic yet.
We kind of put the deposit, and like my partner started to ask like, what's happening, how are you going to move? And I was like, oh my god, like I felt so overwhelmed, and I was like, I really need the time to think. Like I can't like give people all answers right now.
Let's have a gaze. I mean, like a cataclysmic change, but a necessary one, if that makes sense.
I think it does. Like it's been few changes for me recently.
Okay, that's quite a weird one for the end of the cards. It's the Hanged Man. Let's get that. Okay, so we've got Wheel of Fortune, which is like a change card, I suppose, like a need for change or a want for change in this context.
I definitely feel like I needed some change at the moment.
We've got Law and Love.
Well, I actually can tell like straight away why I feel a little bit as full right now, because we applied for the place and we got it straight away, and I feel like, oh, is it like something wrong with this place?
Yeah, yeah, right.
So, and I feel like full. I feel like, oh,
you know, like if you look here on the little stat sheet, spirit is kind of off the charts. It just seems to be that it seems to be something related to work. So keen.
Cool.
All right.
Good. Thank you, Felix.
No
I have
problem.
a question. Like, can you tell me like about your design?
But we're so overexposed to the symbols of the tarots and the pictures now because they're on t-shirts and in movies that they've sort of lost their meaning. And these are so, like, the tarot is so complicated, they're so rich. So I guess it's just exploding that into these like overcomplicated, like metaphysical diagrams and stuff.
It's kind of like, I don't know if you were going to this direction, but it's like genderless.
Yeah. No, there's that. I'd never even thought of that, and that's actually really interesting.
On many like cards, some cards are like there's female or male, and it's kind of dictated what card is about.
the point is not to get rid of the cringy parts of yourself, but to get rid of the part of you that cringes. Something like that. I'll remember to keep my trauma to myself.
No, please don't. Like, that's the opposite. Like, maybe the opposite of that is this. Do you want to like? Is there anything specific that you sort of want to like base the reading around? Like anything you want to ask it, or is it more general? You know.
The Fool.
Yeah.
I love that card. That's one of my favorite cards.
Not just. This is weird dynamic because it's me doing tarot reading and somebody knows tarot. Ooh, I haven't had one of those today. That's a nice change. No, so if you look at this like cheesy 1980s trading card slider system I've got down there, basically between like mind, body, and spirit, it's obviously got balance.
I got it for the first time yesterday. Or like,
oh, really?
One of the first times. Yeah, I never get it. But what does it mean?
Oh, that's nice.
Oh,
Get in.
interesting.
It's nice to see someone actually get that in their future.
Your life could feel so much more fruitful, if you will, when you learn how to let people in and you learn how to like share your experiences.
Which isn't, a tower is not organic as a form, I suppose. I think you're building it, you're trying to construct something.
No, absolutely. I think it makes me so happy to like hear you explain it. I'm really glad that it's come up. It's a nice reminder. But also, I'm quite tired of tower moments. And I was getting the tower card a lot like last week and like the week before.
That's quite spooky.
Because it's...
My God, exciting. Okay. Unconscious desire hole.
Wait, unconscious desire?
Like not really unconscious desire, but like unconscious, what's going on in there? Like something that you're not really aware of. That's necessary to know.
I haven't gotten that card very much either. I didn't know that means either. Yeah.
Quite weird.
I trust this process. But like that's exactly like almost word for word what I've been hearing.
And I don't know how
interesting.
I don't know how like dirty you want the metaphysics of this to go, but I'll try and do like a theology TLDR. It's
yes, please, whatever you want to say. It's really interesting to hear this coming from that perspective. It's like the same information, but like in a different language almost. But it's translating. I understand it, and like.
Thank God for that. It's just.
I can.
It's nonsense.
I can absorb the stuff about the present and the stuff about the past, but then the things about the future, like I've kind of felt that it's there. But that was actually one of the things that like this part redact from your edited video.
I'm sure that was a bit full on, but then
it was very full on. It was so full on.
Whereas I feel like if you were like doing this task or something, you know, very like easy to switch on.
Take it very seriously.
Yeah, but like very
no laughing.
The juxtaposition between, say you pull this out and you'd be like, oh, tower, and it's like, oh wow, what does that mean? It's all mystical. Whereas I'm like, oh, tower, aye, look at that. You know, that's just not very spooky.
Also, look at my moon. You don't have to keep this in the recording, but can I do a quick read for you, by chance?
Please, yes, please. Oh my God.
When I do readings for people, I feel like I kind of go out of my body, and it feels really strange. And I feel like I feel like the person almost. For the present, wait, let me not mix these up. For the present, you have the Emperor, which is like this. But you want to know what's even more interesting?
Wait, wasn't your present the Emperor? Your present, yeah, I've got it all laid out here. Your present the Emperor too.
Wow. Conflict, hostility, and stress. So like, don't spiral in a whirlpool of grief in one night. when you're faced with challenges that would normally throw you off balance, the King of Cups is there to remind you that you should act as he does. Do not fly out in a rage or immediately throw yourself into despair. Temperance card.
What?
Got conflict on one side in the past, and then you got emotional maturity and stability in the future.
I'll go with a general.
Go general first. That's a smart plan. So we'll start with the present card, just to kind of ground it, and kind of work out where to start with. Yay.
Oh, exciting.
And this kind of makes this more specific, I suppose. So drum roll.
I'm getting stressed.
Don't be, to some extent. Not necessarily like, it's not that necessarily had power over other people, but it suggests a sort of humble power within yourself, if that makes sense. Defense, which is kind of your flinch instinct, sort of, that's a sword in the original card. And then prosecution, which is the more mediated sort of like justice being served after effect.
Set myself before and it's never worked out, so I've just sort of given up.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense.
Well, that's something I need to get to.
Well, that's a nice card. No one's got this yet, so this is pretty cool. A lot of these are very spiritual. Like, none of these are about material things, really, or like relationships.
I understand that. That's more thinking than acting.
Yeah, exactly. Oh well.
Death.
Okay, which isn't actually bad.
So I'm either the person cutting off the hands or I'm the hands being cut. What?
That's quite spooky because power, which I was talking about before. I was saying.
I think it makes a lot of sense.
It makes a lot of sense. Okay, I'm good. I'm glad to hear that.
Like a tarot deck now is like such a good way to like start like talking about things.
So we'll start with the present to work out your financial success, which is a bit.
It's definitely like my cringe era. Like,
I mean, not bad. I'll take that.
I feel like I'm more of like a sci-fi artist than like any other kind of like. Still just divination though. It's still spiritual in a sense. There's still like a sort of like. Even when you're doing forecasting of anything, it's still arcane. Oh, that's grim.
The love of something, whatever it is.
My love of money. I'm pretty sure there's like a book of like Bitcoin and astrology as well. It's like there's like a recent trend where like, it's almost like a fascist sort of like, you know how like the Nazis become really like interested in the occult, crypto people get are apparently quite interested in the occult.
Work out whether this is a love of kind of wealth or power.
Now you got me afraid, the love one.
That fits really well. I don't know if that's.
I mean, I am much more of a materialist than a spiritual person.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I've become more like agnostic towards it recently, where it's like, well, it like could be real or it could not be real.
Okay. Drum roll. Okay.
Yes, maybe.
That's good.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I don't even think like, I think I was like last semester, a lot of my views were like a lot harsher. Like I definitely was a lot more like, I don't even think about like some of the thoughts I had then.
Revealing. So we'll start with this bad boy. Okay.
I don't know. I feel like I often seem like a doom and gloom apocalypse bringer, but like it's definitely like a very fast evolving like worldview.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I was so like pilled about like technology is gonna like supersede humanity, or like maybe I'm just like less stressed, but it's definitely like it's an interest. Yeah, and then so you've made the tarot cards. So, like if I was gonna do like an art history essay, I'd be like, you have made the tarot cards into little screens. It's like what they are now.
Almost so.
Oh, I mean the major ones are way more fun than using like the entire deck.
Yeah, like I'm not mad on like 7 of Swords and all these random
No,
ones.
who cares? It's like it's like people aren't like coming to your little, like a lot of it's architectural, I think, around like people aren't coming to your little hut on like the top of the hill to consult with Felix about like their futures with a bag of gold in their hand.
Yeah, the only time I've ever gotten a tarot reading was in like a dorm room with like 20 other girls like screaming like like in a prees. Like I love the purple backdrop as well.
Shout out to my mum's scarf. But in it. That's nice. So we've got a world card.
Of like when you said overly choreographed, that makes sense. Like very much
We've got judgment.
This is like really like personal, but like yeah. That's really interesting. That's cool.
That's quite cool. Off the bat, and that's like card 2 as well.
Yeah.
So basically we've got
so like sort of thinking about maybe like I don't know, like a year and a half ago or something, definitely changed quite a lot since then. I reckon. I think mindset and sort of what I prioritize in life and who I keep around me. So that's really interesting as well.
So not as bad as it initially seems. Insulting, but this is actually a nice card.
That's interesting because I'm like a control freak. Follow down that path instead of like creating things that may actually add and be wasteful.
Yeah.
To actually just like, do something within the world. Because I feel like I don't know, sculpture, I'm like, oh my god, like I'm so torn because it's like I want to make these cool things, but also it's like why? Like why does this need to exist in our world? Love mycelium. Like,
really?
Yeah, I think it's so interesting.
So do I. We could detour to a whole mycelium chapter 1. I mean, that's a pretty textbook like aspiration card. So
moving overseas, like in the future, it is like the reason I want to do it is to gain knowledge, of course, like and get that sort of like postgrad degree, but then also to be in a position where I can have influence over like great, like good things, not like a really like insane way. Like use like my power as for good. Oh, that sounds like freaking.
I like that. I think we stick with that.
Yeah.
Well, I'll put that in the start. If I cut this in, it's like the supervillain arc. Well, this is going to be unconscious. So look, like if it's bad, we can just cherry pick.
Oh, great.
Which isn't bad.
That's intense. Okay.
Ew, the universe. Okay, so
it's definitely something that's been like sort of on my mind about when I think about moving.
Very different vibe. Like it very much works for like making a mycelium armchair, but
yeah.
Then
like it all of this like sort of spread does make sense, and it's interesting like the way that you've sort of like lined it up, and with especially like death being like the subconscious or like unconscious sort of like idea, because like I personally feel it's like, oh, I've got all these like great stuff like around me, and I'm really lucky, but like and then like there's just like one thing that's like
just
quite
down here. So I don't know, just random tarot venting outlet. I'm here, I'm a sponge, like just go, you know, it's totally fine.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I usually don't like look at tarot cards or something like or anything like that or zodiac because like I like it, but also at the same time I always like, oh well, they're generalizing, and so you can connect any attributes with like anything, if that makes sense. But yeah, I guess like even now it's even if it like there is some element of that, it's still like there's still personal things coming out.
So if you've never done tarot reading before, so basically what I'm going to do is kind of like the simplest spread that lasts longer than 5 minutes. It's basically a past, present, future spread. Like so this is kind of like the girl boss card, but also
I love that. Yeah, a little bit. Like yeah, I would say a little bit.
And not having that all of a sudden, that's like a pretty big readjustment, I guess.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, that seems pretty accurate. I mean, this is a bit of a priestess moment. I guess this is like chronologically the one just before priestess, which is pretty weird. Oh
my god, I mean, I guess everyone's coming to that point in uni when it's like that everyone has like all these big assessments and stuff like that, and then just finding like no joy at all in art making at the moment. yeah it feels like that, and it's like just kind of exhausting, and I'm ready to present on Monday.
All right, so we've got the judgment card.
Yeah, I don't know, I guess like it is kind of freaky to see that, like
really.
I think if in this card specifically, it immediately for me is like, yeah, just kind of in a way, like when we were talking about where you stand on like divination and stuff, this feels quite I guess totemic in a way, if that's the right word, where maybe they're not specifically being brought up in like a really woo-woo way. But the cards, they represent stuff where you can connect your own meaning to, which is important in its own way, you know?
I mean, you're out of all of the people I've talked to, you're the very first person somehow who has been sort of skeptical about the card's purpose, which is really interesting because our age group is, I suppose, stereotypically, like you'd think quite kind of very, very skeptical about these sorts of things. And the bottom of it is kind of to forget, to sleep, and to die.
Having to deal with that now is, yeah, like I would consider that like a rebirth, maybe not in the sense where it's like very sudden, but like a slow rebirth. At least, yeah, that card is probably the most heavy, I think.
Yay.
Is that good? This one is like a really positive one, at least the way I'm taking it. Very heartwarming.
Okay, we've got the Emperor card, which is assignment related or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I was about to say, I was like, yeah. There's a definite like sense of like expanded painting is not my thing. Damn, okay. But like uni then, like the few weeks before lockdown it was such a good rhythm. It was so like nice to be in the studio and